Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وتبارك اسمك وتعالى جدك ولا إله غيرك. Okay, first we're going to begin today's session with my daughter Abdur Rahim Muhammad Stone. What was that word I used? Re-strengthening her faith. You know, hold the right index finger up and repeat after me. Yeah. Okay, first of all, you're going to say, I bear witness.
I bear witness.
That nothing has the right to be worshipped except the Lord alone, without partner or associate. And I bear witness that Muhammad is the servant and messenger of Allah. That's what you're about to say. What we're going to say, you'll be saying it in the Arabic language, which is the language of the angels. Repeat after me. Ashhadu anna ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu Rasulullah. Okay. What we're going to begin first off is the first topic I'm going to expand a little bit on. It's called the 4 schools of thought.
Can I get my book then? Can I get my book? I left it over there.
Yeah.
So, it's just right here.
Now, the 4 schools of thought came into existence with Imam Malik. That's one school of thought, which is called the Maliki school of thought. You have Imam Shafi, which is the Shafi school of thought. Who? Imam. I-M-A-N. Malik, M-A-L-I-K. That's one. Then you have Imam Shafi. Well, it's Ash-Shafi. A-S-H-S-H-A-F-I. Now put a little hyphen and then another I. Imam Shafi, Imam Hanafi, H-A-N-A-F-I, and then you have Imam Hanbali, H-A-M-B-A-L. Now, those are the 4, they're called the 4 Imams. Now, no matter what Muslim you are, what I mean by that is Sunni, different types, because there's different groups of Muslims. But each group follows under the teachings of one of those 4 Imams. Now, sometimes some of the Imams, they have their difference of opinions on certain issues, but they never refute or disagree or argue with each other on their views. Each Imam, they all 4 Imams always, whatever their view was, they always had a verse from the Quran or a teaching from Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, to back up what they said. That's okay. I'm gonna leave it right there at that point there, because I'm not gonna go. So me, I follow Imam Hanbali, which is called the Hanbali school of thought. His whole name is Imam Ahmed Hanbali. That's the school of thought I follow. I don't disregard the other 3 Imams, because I don't suggest people to stick to one and forget the other three, because there may be an issue that comes up and you may not find it with your particular imam that you follow, but one of the other three may have it. So that's why I consider all three of them as being feasible. Okay, my second thing is going to be on Aqidah. And I'm going to go from the book that I'm revising. Aqidah means creed. Aqidah is, as I put here, it is belief and faith. It's like believing in something wholeheartedly, without no doubt, having no doubts in it, and then putting all your faith into that belief. Now, some people say Aqidah is belief and only belief, and some people say Aqidah is faith and only faith. But it's both, basically, both the same, one and the same. In Islamic terms, as Muslims, we believe totally in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah most glorified, most high. And we put our unwavering faith in Him. No matter what we go through in life, we always have faith in Allah that He would provide for us, because He is the provider. He will help us, He'll guide us, and strengthen us, and so forth. Then you have another thing called Sharia. Sharia are our laws that we follow, our do's and our don'ts. Now, Sharia comes from, when they came up with the certain laws for us to live by, they came from what Allah said in the Quran and what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us. And then they put in laws like stealing, lying, illegal sexual intercourse, being helpful to the next person that needs help. All these laws that we have, and it's a lot of them. I'm gonna let you know now, being that you starting off new, fresh and new, it's gonna be a lot. You're gonna be like, man, listen, this is too much. But what I would suggest you do is take the apple and take little bites. Don't just try to eat the whole apple. You know, start off like what I did was I started off with home laws. How to brush my teeth, how to wash up, putting on my clothes. Whenever you put on your clothes, you're always supposed to start with the right foot. And when you're taking off your clothes, you start with the left foot, stuff like that. I started off small like that.
Naturally. I really do. I did that naturally.
Another thing is, which I found hard for me to do, it took me like 5 years to get it right. When you wiping yourself, you're supposed to wipe with your left hand, not your right hand. And all my life, I was raised up right, using my right hand, so it became a habit. Now, it took me like 5 years to break out of that, because I felt awkward at first. So, Aqidah deals with matters of the faith, of our heart. Sharia deals with the matters of our everyday living, but they both interlock with each other. The next topic, La ilaha illallah.
Shahida, rules, regulations.
Huh?
So Shahida is our regulations. Well, rules.
Sharia.
And what you said the other one was?
Aqidah. Yeah.
And that's belief and faith.
Right. And that deals with everything from the heart.
Yes.
Okay, La ilaha illallah. Some people translate it, right, some people translate it as there's no God but Allah. It's not a mistranslation, but it doesn't cover the full essence of what that phrase means. La ilaha illallah is an affirmation, it's a negation and an affirmation. The negation part is La ilaha, which means there's nothing worthy of worship, nothing in creation we're supposed to worship, or bow down to, or pray to, or supplicate to, or give thanks to. And the affirmation is ilaha, but Allah. That's who we give all that to. What else I got here? Okay, the fundamentals of Tawheed. Tawheed is bearing witness to the oneness of Allah, that He's the only one. There's nothing with them. No Jesus, no Muhammad, none of that. They were all his creations, just like we are all his creations. You have three aspects of Tawheed, and you might want to write this down. Tawheed is Tawhid. Now sometimes you may come across that word, the same word, but it's spelled Taweed or Taueed. There's three different ways of spelling it, but they all mean the same thing. You got Tawheed. No, right on the next line, Tawheed. Right. R-A-R, Rubu, R-U-B-U, Rubu, B, no, same thing, same word, B-I, Y-Y-A-H. Now that means the oneness of his of Allah's lordship.
The oneness
of his lordship. Meaning he's the only Lord. He's the creator, the maintainer, the sustainer, the provider, the giver, the taker. He is the master, the controller of all affairs. Everything that we go through in life, this is getting a little bit off, but on the same track. Everything that we go through in life was preordained before we was even born. Everything was mapped out, our whole lifespan. Now, then you have the second one is called Tawheed. No, go ahead. That's not Tawheed.
Yes.
L-A-L, Ulu, U-L-U, H-Y, no, H-I, I'm sorry. Ulu, he, all right, H-I, H-I-Y-Y-A-H. That's Tawheed al-Uluhiyya, which means oneness of his worship. Which means that he's the only one to be worshipped. And like I said, he's the only one that we pray to, the only one we supplicate to. We ask for the kind of help that only he can provide. We give all praises due to him in our worship. And like I mentioned before, nothing else is worthy of worship but him. Now, all the people back in the times of the prophets, they always believed in his lordship, that he was Lord. But they fell short through the worship because they started worshiping idols, people, statues. Like if you go to inside of a Roman Catholic church, you see nothing but statues all over. St. Peter, St. Paul, St. Christopher, St. this, St. Bruce, St. Mike, stuff like that. Like with the Christians, you go to their churches, they got a big cross in there, and they're praying to the cross. That's idol worship. Muslims is the only religion. Islam is the only religion that has no idols. No matter what mosque you go into, you won't see no statues, no pictures, no nothing. And we're the only religion that worship only one God without putting partners with him, or setting up partners with him, or associating partners with him. Like with the Christians, they'll pray, "Oh God, please bestow your blessings upon me in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost." Right there, they just put partners with him. And they don't do that. Muslims don't do that.
Or they say the blood of Jesus.
Yeah. Now the last one is Tawheed. Cooking good.
Yeah.
Al-A-L. Al-Asma. Wait a minute. Let me get it right. Tawheed al-Asma. ASMA
ASMA.
WA. No, separate the W.
Okay.
WASI. Now, space.
Okay.
FAT. I did it like that so you better know how to pronounce it.
Oh.
It's Asma Wasifat.
Okay, so this is one word.
Yeah, Asma Wasifat is one word. No, I'm sorry, 2 words.
So,
It's 2 words. Asma is 1 word, Wasifat is another word.
okay. I think I've heard this before.
That's the oneness of his name and attributes.
The oneness. What?
Attributes.
ATT.
Yeah.
Oh, attributes. Yes, I know it's correct. Okay.
Okay, those are the 3 aspects of Tawheed. Also, let me see. Okay, as far as his name and attributes. Allah has many names, but 99 of them is known to us. And all 99 you can find in the Holy Quran in different places. Like you may be a chapter, a verse in the Quran, and it may say, such, for he is the all-hearing, all-seeing. Those are 2 attributes. Or you may hear, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most gracious, the most merciful. Those are 2 attributes. Stuff like that. I don't have we don't really need it right now anyway. I don't have a Quran, so I can't point out too many of them.
That's in my room.
Okay, it's all right. Now, the next topic, we're going to go through the 5 pillars. Now, the other day when I was here and we were speaking, I made mention that Islam is based. What is Islam? Many people go through the technicalities of it's the religion of peace, it's the religion of total submission to the will of Allah, so forth and so on. All that is true. Okay, all that is true. However, it was explained more simple than that with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a hadith. A hadith is the same approvals of Prophet Muhammad. What he said, what he did, everything was recorded by the companions. I'm not going to use the word hadith too much. I'm going to say, instead of using the word hadith, I'm going to say teachings, because that's what they are, teachings. There's a lesson that's the teaching that is very famous throughout the Muslim world. It's called the Hadith Jibril. And in this hadith, the angel Gabriel came to Prophet Muhammad while he was hanging out with the companions. And the angel Gabriel asked him some questions. One of the questions that the angel Gabriel asked him was, what is faith? And, no, I'm sorry, let me back up. What is Islam? That was the first question. What is Islam? And Prophet Muhammad told him, Islam is to bear witness that nothing has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, offer the prayers, pay the zakat, which is charity, fast the month of Ramadan, and perform the journey to Mecca, which is known as Hajj, to the Holy Kaaba. Those 5 things, and that was the 5 pillars. Now, each pillar, they have subtitles, subdivisions, like La ilaha illallah, right? There's a hadith, another teaching, where it was stated that if a person says La ilaha illallah, they'll enter paradise. But the meaning of that saying is, just saying La ilaha illallah it's good. It's a beautiful thing. It holds a big weight when you say it. But you have to act upon it. by following the Quran and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, the religious laws of Islam, and so forth and so on. Learning knowledge, practicing what you learn, and teaching it to others. That's all that falls under the category of the saying La ilaha illallah. I got off track. Okay. Right. That's simple. I bear witness or I testify that nothing has the right to be worshipped but Allah alone and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Then you got the prayers. Now you have two types of prayers. You have the obligatory prayers, which they call fard, and then you have wajib, and then you also have the voluntary prayers, which is called supererogatory prayers or nafil prayers. Those prayers, okay, if you don't perform a voluntary prayer, it's not considered a sin, but it's good to perform them because it brings you closer to Allah. The more prayers you do, voluntary and obligatory, brings you more closer to Allah and it opens up your faith much stronger. But the obligatory prayers are mandatory. Those are the prayers that if you miss intentionally on purpose and don't try to make them up and seek Allah's forgiveness, it's a big sin. It's a major sin. Then you have the charity. You have two types of charity. You have zakat, which is the major charity, which is like when you work for a whole year, whatever total earnings you made for that year, 2.5% you give to the local masjid to feed those who is unfortunate. Then you also have, and the second charity is called sadaqah, which is it's not as strong as the major charity, but it's good because anything, it could be a sadaqah. A handshake, a smile, a greeting, feeding your son, all that, everything that you do for the sake of Allah is considered sadaqah, and you get blessings for it. In general, anything that you do in life, according to Allah's commands and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, Allah blesses you off the top. Then you have fasting the month of Ramadan, which coming up within the next week or so. For 29 or 30 days, you don't eat from sunrise to sunset. You're not allowed to curse, swear, drink, and get intoxicant. All sins. Anything that's considered a sin, we have to abstain from.
Forget what she did,
Well,
That's all.
yeah.
It's okay.
Well,
can I watch positive things?
No, you can't watch TV, can't listen to music, can't do nothing. But get closer to God.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. I write books, so I'll do that.
But that's from sunrise to sunset.
Yeah. So I'll just write during the day, and then at night I can watch catch up on my show.
You can do that. Now, as far as the committing of sins and stuff like that, it's strongly recommended that once as you going through Ramadan, avoiding that, even when Ramadan is over, still try to keep up that practice because it eliminates the sins off of you, the bad habits. And then you have the pilgrimage to Mecca. Mecca is in Saudi Arabia, and I don't like calling it Saudi Arabia because it was in Prophet Muhammad's day and time, it was known as Arabia, so that's the word I stick with, Arabia. Once in your lifetime. And it's not obligatory if you can't afford it. But if you got the money for it, you have to do it. Also, if you're unable to do it for whatever illness, financial problems, or so forth like that.
Or did you corona?
Yeah, things like that. You could, somebody can perform the journey on your behalf. And people that performs that journey, that do make that journey, they become known as Haji. That means when you hear a person say, "Oh, Haji," that's because he went to Mecca. You know. Then and you also have people that doesn't go to Mecca like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Yes, selfish.
Okay. Now, this book is called Fatawa Islamia, Islamic Verdicts, which is basically our laws. Certain things we can't do, and certain things we can do, and this book is written in question and answer form. But what I wanted to point out in this book, if I can find it, okay, being that, like I said, being that you're starting all over again, we're going to go with purification, the washing up situation. Now, this book here is written, not written, well, it's from the noble scholars, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Abdullah bin Baz. Short for his, I mean, you like, okay, what did he just say?
Let's call him Ben.
Actually, that's his name, bin Baz. That's what they call him, bin Baz. I'm not going to go through all their names, all right? Then you have another one named Salih Al-Uthaymin, or Sheikh Uthaymin. And then you have Al-Jibrini.
Okay.
These three gentlemen,
His name sounds like Al Green.
these three gentlemen, along with they call it in this book, it's called the Permanent Committee of Scholars. They are scholars in Islamic law, among other things. Now, let me. Whoa, it's a lot. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. Okay, what I'm about the short part that I'm about to read is from Ibn Uthaymin, and this is what he says. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and may peace and blessings of Allah be upon the noblest of the prophets and messengers, our Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace and blessings be upon him, and upon all his family and companions, as for what follows. Verily, Allah the most glorified, most high, has legislated purification for every prayer. That means before you pray, you have to perform wudu. Because the elimination of impurity. It's time to throw my grip.